Vince Gill, at 67, has just broken his silence, and in doing so, he has stirred up a whirlwind of emotions, questions, and revelations. For decades, Vince has been one of the most celebrated and awarded country artists, boasting 22 Grammy Awards and 18 Country Music Association accolades. However, even with such an illustrious career, there has been one part of his journey that's been shrouded in mystery, a story that fans have whispered about, but never fully understood. Now, with his recent confirmation of a rumor that has followed him for years, the music world is looking at Vince Gill in a whole new light. Some are celebrating his honesty, others are in disbelief, and a few are wondering why it took him so long to come forward. But rest assured, by the time you've read this, you'll either be completely shocked or have a newfound appreciation for the man behind the music. The truth behind Vince Gill's membership in the Eagles is not just a headline. It's a story of fate, history, and quiet twists that no one saw coming. Born into a musical family, Vince Gill's connection to music was practically destiny itself. From the moment he strummed his first four-string tenor guitar as a child, it was clear this was no ordinary boy. His parents, seeing his raw talent, didn't just buy him a toy guitar. They knew he was meant for something bigger and invested in a Gibson ES 335, a serious electric guitar, for their young prodigy. From there, Vince's journey accelerated. But who could have predicted that this small-town boy armed with a guitar would one day join the ranks of one of the most legendary rock bands in history? The twist in Vince's story came after the unexpected death of Glenn Frey, the heart and soul of the Eagles, in 2016. It was a blow not just to the band, but to music lovers everywhere. Glenn was irreplaceable. His voice and his presence were integral to the very foundation of the band. At the time, many wondered if the Eagles would ever be able to perform again. Don Henley, the band's co-founder, admitted publicly that he didn't see how they could continue without Glenn. The Eagles, as they were known, seemed to have come to a sad end. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Behind the scenes, a conversation was quietly taking place. The band's manager, Irving Azoff, reached out to Vince's manager, Larry Fitzgerald. It wasn't an open invitation. It wasn't the kind of offer that comes with grand fanfare or an immediate public announcement. It was subtle, almost like a whisper at first. Vince, who had a deep and personal connection to Glenn Frey, the two had shared a manager after the Eagles initially disbanded, was blindsided by the offer. In fact, he never expected to be asked to join the Eagles. But when the call came, Vince didn't hesitate. His response? As smooth and natural as you'd expect from a seasoned professional. "When do we leave?" Vince wasn't overthinking it. He wasn't considering how this would affect his career or whether it would be a good fit. He knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The Eagles had asked him to join their ranks, and there was no room for second-guessing. However, joining the Eagles wasn't as simple as stepping into the spotlight and playing a few songs. The Eagles' catalog is iconic, a treasure trove of some of the most beloved rock songs of all time. Vince knew that taking on such a legacy required respect, humility, and precision. He wasn't about to step in and alter the essence of the music. No, Vince wanted to honor what had already been created. His approach was thoughtful, meticulous, and respectful of the band's history. When it came time to choose the songs, Vince didn't pick the easy ones. He tackled classics like Take It to the Limit, New Kid in Town, Tequila Sunrise, and Lion Eyes, songs that are as iconic as the band itself. These weren't just songs to Vince, they were memories, lifetimes, and moments frozen in time. The fans who had grown up with these songs had invested so much of their lives in them, and Vince understood that. He committed to playing each song note for note, staying true to the original arrangements. After all, these songs weren't just tunes. They were part of the fabric of rock and roll, and Vince didn't want to strip away any of what made them special. But there was more than just musical respect at play here. Vince's dynamic with Don Henley was crucial. This wasn't a situation where the Eagles needed a guy who could simply sing and play guitar. They needed someone who could fit within the band's established chemistry. Luckily, Vince and Henley had worked together before on Henley's County album, and that prior relationship meant trust was already in place. Vince wasn't there to be the next Glenn Frey or to grab the spotlight. He was there to contribute, to preserve the integrity of the music, and to honor the legacy of the Eagles. In his own words, Vince said, "I don't have to have the attention. I don't have to have the spotlight." That was the kind of attitude that made him the perfect fit for the band. Vince's first performance with the Eagles came in 2017 at Dodger Stadium, an event that was nothing short of historic. But it wasn't just another concert. The weight of that night, the emotion, and the significance were palpable. Glenn Frey's son, Deacon Frey, was on stage with Vince, stepping into his father's shoes in a way that was both heartbreaking and beautiful. The night wasn't just about music. It was about honoring the past, holding on to memories and moving forward in a way that felt right. Vince understood that this wasn't his moment to shine. It was a moment to keep the songs alive for future generations, and that was exactly what he did. For Vince, joining the Eagles was not about replacing Glenn Frey. It was about preserving the music and ensuring that the spirit of the band lived on. Fast forward to today, and Vince Gill is still rocking out with the Eagles, performing on their farewell tour, which is set to wrap up in 2025. To go from a young kid with a guitar to playing Take It to the Limit with the Eagles in front of thousands of fans, it's the kind of journey only music can write. In a career filled with accolades, awards, and countless chart-topping hits, Vince Gill's legacy is one that transcends genres. But his decision to step into the Eagles' spotlight, especially after Glenn Frey's death, shows a side of Vince that fans have never fully understood. Until now. At 67, Vince has revealed the truth behind his time with the Eagles, confirming what many had speculated for years. Some fans may have celebrated the news, while others might still be processing it. But one thing's for sure. Vince Gill's place in rock history is now forever intertwined with the Eagles, and the story he shared with us only adds depth to his remarkable career. In the world of country music, where personal lives often intertwine with public personas, few stories have captivated fans quite like the love story of Amy Grant and Vince Gill. From their serendipitous meeting in the early 90s to their recent challenges with health battles, their journey together has been a testament to love, resilience, and the undeniable chemistry that brought them together. But as with many celebrity relationships, there's been a mix of fascination, speculation, and skepticism along the way, and some secrets are only now coming to light. For years, the couple's connection has been the subject of both admiration and judgment, with many speculating about the true nature of their bond. But as Vince Gill, now 67, breaks his silence on certain rumors and revelations, the country music world finds itself buzzing with new information that changes the narrative forever. Fans are left shocked, vindicated, and curious about the details that have remained hidden for so long. What is the truth? How has the couple managed to keep their relationship intact amidst so many challenges? And what happens next for these two beloved figures in country music? Stay with us as we dive into this intricate love story, one that has taken many unexpected turns, but is ultimately a testament to the enduring power of love, patience, and understanding. It all began in 1993, during the filming of Christmas with Vince Gill in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At the time, Amy Grant was already a huge star in her own right, with a powerful presence both in the Christian music world and the broader music scene. Vince, a seasoned artist with his own impressive career, had been part of the special, but their paths hadn't crossed until that moment. What could have been just another holiday performance turned into the beginning of something much more profound. Amy was brought on as a guest performer for the Christmas special, and Vince was immediately struck by her presence. Their meeting was electric, And it wasn't just the magic of the music that connected them, it was something deeper, something that neither of them had expected. Vince vividly remembers the moment when Amy entered the rehearsal space, her brow furrowed, perhaps from the usual pressures of the job. Being the charming man that he is, Vince couldn't help but approach her with a lighthearted, "Hey, unknit that brow, it's going to be okay." It was a simple moment, but the energy between them was undeniable. And then, music brought them even closer. The two musicians began performing together at several holiday events that same year, and during this time, Amy invited Vince to record their first duet, House of Love. The song itself, though beautiful, became more than just a musical collaboration. It marked the beginning of something bigger. They were no longer just two artists in a studio. They were two souls connected by an undeniable chemistry. However, both were married at the time, Vince to country artist Janice Oliver and Amy to Christian artist Gary Chapman, and despite the deep connection they shared, they each remained committed to their respective marriages. Though the chemistry was obvious to everyone who observed their interactions, Amy later admitted that it wasn't just apparent to them. It was felt by everyone in the room, and yet they respected their boundaries, understanding that sometimes timing is everything. From 1993 to 1999, the connection between Vince and Amy continued to grow. But it wasn't without its struggles. Amy referred to these years as the long years, a period in which the tension between what they felt and what they had to do, the right thing, was a constant battle. The attraction was undeniable, but both of them remained committed to their marriages, making the situation increasingly complicated. Despite their best efforts to manage the situation with integrity, the world around them wasn't so understanding. Vince and Amy were often subject to judgment and assumptions from both the media and fans. Vince himself later reflected on this difficult time, saying, "What was painful was most people assumed the worst of us, and it was not fair. It was incorrect." It was an all-too-common scenario where people jumped to conclusions without taking the time to understand the complexities of the situation. Yet despite the challenges they faced, both remained determined to uphold their integrity. They knew that what they had wasn't just a fleeting connection. It was something meaningful, something worth waiting for. However, patience wasn't easy, and the years between 1993 and 1999 tested both of them in ways they hadn't anticipated. In 1997, Vince's divorce from Janice Oliver hit the headlines, and Amy was taken by surprise. It was something that had come much sooner than she had expected, and it shifted the dynamic between them. But it wasn't until 1999 that things began to take a more significant turn. Amy's marriage to Gary Chapman, which she had often described as rocky from the start, finally came to an end after 17 years. This was a painful time for Amy, but it also created the opportunity for her and Vince to be together without any further barriers. Though both had respected their marriages for as long as they could, the end of those relationships opened the door for them to finally pursue what had been waiting in the wings for years. Just 4 months after her divorce, Amy confirmed her relationship with Vince, and in March of 2000, the two were married in a beautiful, intimate ceremony just outside Nashville. It was a simple celebration, attended by close family and friends, and most importantly, their children, who witnessed the love between their parents. There was no rush to force anything. It simply fell into place when the time was right. Their relationship, born from a chance encounter at a holiday special, had blossomed into a partnership that would last a lifetime. It's proof that sometimes the best things in life come when you least expect them, and that patience, above all, is the key to unlocking the most meaningful connections. While the early years of their relationship were marked by the challenges of managing a public love story and navigating difficult personal situations, it was in 2020 that Amy and Vince faced the most testing challenge of all: Amy's health battle. In a twist of fate, it was a routine doctor's visit for Vince that led to the discovery of a rare congenital heart defect in Amy. The diagnosis came out of nowhere. Amy, who had lived with this condition her whole life without knowing, was suddenly faced with a harsh reality. The condition, known as PAVR, pulmonary arterial valve regurgitation, affects only about 1 in 143 people, making it incredibly rare. The news was both shocking and frightening, especially since the doctor informed her that if left untreated, the situation could become catastrophic. Vince, ever the doting husband, was naturally devastated by the news, but true to form, Amy remained strong, taking the diagnosis in stride. The surgery was scheduled for June 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The added stress of the pandemic made everything more complicated. Amy underwent open-heart surgery, a major procedure with a long recovery time. Vince, unable to be by her side due to hospital restrictions, faced the unimaginable, waiting at home, helpless and worried, knowing that his wife was undergoing such a serious operation. In a situation where many couples would have faltered, Vince and Amy's bond only grew stronger. Vince was finally allowed to visit Amy in the hospital, but it was a far cry from the support he had hoped to provide. Despite these trying circumstances, the couple faced this challenge together, proving once again the strength of their love. Amy and Vince's love story is one for the books. It's a story of unexpected beginnings, of navigating life's challenges with grace, and of two people who, despite the odds, found a way to make their love work. They've been through so much together, both professionally and personally, and yet their connection remains as strong as ever. As they continue to weather life's ups and downs, one thing is certain: their story is far from over. It's a love that has stood the test of time, one that has been nurtured through patience, respect, and unwavering support. As Vince Gill himself reflects, our love is more than just a story. It's a journey that we're still on, and we're in it together for the long haul. In a world full of fleeting relationships and headlines that often tell only part of the story, Amy and Vince's bond remains a shining example of what true love looks like. Their love isn't just a fairy tale, it's the real deal, one that has been tested but never broken, and one that will continue to inspire for years to come. In the whirlwind of fame, fortune, and musical accolades, Vince Gill has lived a life that many can only dream of. Yet, behind the stage lights and Grammy Awards, his personal journey has been one marked by devotion, love, and strength in the face of life's most unpredictable challenges. At 67, after decades of performing and creating music that resonates deeply with fans worldwide, Vince Gill is finally speaking out about the most intimate chapters of his life. And believe me, what he's revealing now will change the way you see him forever. So stick around, because the story you're about to hear isn't just about music. It's about resilience, love, and the power of second chances. It wasn't supposed to be like this. When the pandemic hit, the world came to a standstill. Musicians, like everyone else, were forced to pause. But for Vince Gill, this unexpected break had one silver lining. His performance schedule was wiped clean, giving him the rare opportunity to focus on what truly mattered. With the world in chaos, Vince found himself at home, not in a studio or on tour, but by the side of his wife, Amy Grant. The two had been through a lot together, but the pandemic allowed them to reconnect and heal in ways they hadn't expected. But just when they thought the worst had passed, life threw another curveball their way. In July 2022, while Amy was out enjoying a peaceful bike ride near a golf course, a sudden mishap changed everything. She hit a pothole, sending her flying off the bike in a devastating fall. While falling off a bike might sound like a minor inconvenience for most, for Amy, this was anything but ordinary. The accident left her with a severe brain injury. Although she was wearing a helmet, the impact was enough to cause significant trauma. Vince, without a second thought, canceled 3 concerts immediately. Nothing mattered more than being there for his wife. recovery was anything but simple. Amy's memory was affected, and doctors told them it would take anywhere from 12 to 18 months for her brain to fully heal. Imagine for a moment not being able to remember the simplest things, forgetting conversations you've had, or struggling to recall details of your life. As if that wasn't enough, Amy underwent throat surgery to remove a cyst, and then shoulder surgery soon followed. It felt like a series of never-ending hurdles, but through it all, Vince never left her side. He was her rock. His unwavering support, his constant reminders that they would get through this together, became the lifeline that kept Amy going. Vince's words, "We're here, and I love you," were simple, yet powerful. And for Amy, those words were the anchor that helped her stay grounded through one of the toughest periods of her life. It wasn't just about recovery, it was about knowing that someone would always be there for her. In a world that so often feels chaotic, Vince's presence was a constant reminder that love and support can make all the difference. For decades, Vince Gill has been captivating audiences with his soulful voice and heartfelt lyrics. But behind the scenes, rumors have swirled about his life, and at 67, he's finally addressing them head-on. Fans, who have admired him for so long, are left in shock as he unveils the truth. What has he been hiding all these years? And why now? What has prompted him to come clean? The answers are as layered as his music, and what he shares will make you look at Vince Gill in a completely new light. Even after all of his success, Vince is not done evolving. At 67, most musicians might consider taking a step back, enjoying the fruits of their labor and basking in the legacy they've created. But Vince Gill is not most musicians. Even after winning 22 Grammy Awards and achieving recognition as one of country music's most respected artists, Vince is still pushing boundaries, still finding new ways to create music that feels authentic and meaningful. And when you hear him talk about it, you realize that it's not about chart-topping hits or mainstream recognition for him anymore. Vince is chasing something deeper. He's chasing the truth in his music, the kind that resonates with the soul. For Vince, it's not about chasing trends or trying to replicate past successes. He's now writing the best songs of his life, not the ones that get the most radio play, but the ones that matter most to him. His songwriting approach has changed significantly over the years. Gone are the days of following a formula or trying to write hit songs based on what's popular. Instead, Vince now creates from a place of honesty, capturing life as it is without trying to impose his own judgments or ideas on it. It's a far cry from the commercialized world of mainstream music, where formulas dominate. Vince has always understood that true songwriting isn't about churning out content. It's about sitting with an idea, letting it breathe, and giving it time to grow. Vince Gill, a name synonymous with country music greatness, is not only a musical icon, but also an artist whose career is defined by his commitment to collaboration and constant evolution. While his musical resume includes over 24 Grammy Awards and countless hits, it's his unwavering focus on the craft of music itself that sets him apart from many of his peers. Over the years, Vince has not simply rested on his laurels, rather he's continuously sought out new and innovative ways to push his musical boundaries, solidifying his place in the ever-changing world of music. One of the most captivating aspects of Vince's career is his collaborative spirit. Unlike many artists who are motivated by the lure of fame or the desire to be associated with top-charting names, Vince's approach to collaboration has always been grounded in the belief that great music transcends genre and ego. It's never been about collecting big names for the sake of appearances. Instead, he actively seeks artists who bring something fresh and unique to the table. Whether he's joining forces with pop powerhouse Kelly Clarkson, rocking the stage with the Eagles, or mentoring up-and-coming traditional country artists, Vince remains open to experimentation, making his collaborations dynamic and ever-evolving. His willingness to work across genres from country to pop to rock speaks to a level of versatility that few artists in the country music scene possess. The magic of Vince Gill lies not in his desire to be in the spotlight, but in his dedication to creating something that stands the test of time. He's never been one to chase the latest trends. For Vince, it's always about the music, authentic, raw, and true to his soul. And perhaps what makes him so widely respected in the industry is his humility. Unlike many artists who seek the spotlight and all its rewards, Vince has always been indifferent to accolades and credit. His focus is solely on the art itself, and it is this rare quality that has earned him the admiration of his peers and has kept him in high demand, even as the industry changes around him. But what truly makes Vince Gill such a fascinating artist is how he's managed to evolve with the times while staying true to his roots. Unlike some musicians who resist change or cling to their past successes, Vince embraces the evolution of music. He recognizes that music, much like life, is in constant motion, and he has made it his mission to not only stay relevant, but to also help shape the future of the genre. While his foundation is firmly planted in the traditional sounds of country music, he's always remained open to new influences and sounds that keep his music fresh and innovative. It's this flexibility that allows him to evolve without losing sight of what made him great in the first place. At 67, Vince is more connected to his roots than ever before, particularly through his ongoing involvement with the Grand Ole Opry. The Opry holds a special place in his heart. It's the birthplace of country music, and for Vince, it's a constant reminder of where it all began. When Vince sits down to write a song or prepares to perform, he runs it through the mental filter of what it would sound like on that legendary stage. It's an approach that keeps him grounded, ensuring that no matter how far his music takes him, he always stays connected to the essence of country music. Vince's connection to his roots is part of what has made him such a beloved figure in the music world. Despite the incredible success he's achieved over the decades, he's never lost sight of the simple joy that comes from playing music and telling stories. There's a timeless quality to his music, and it's clear that the passion that fueled him as a young boy with a guitar still drives him today. He's the same Vince Gill who fell in love with music all those years ago, and it's that authenticity that has cemented his legacy. As we look to the future, Vince's story is far from over. Far from slowing down, Vince continues to evolve, grow, and share his music with the world. While many artists might begin to rest on their success, Vince's commitment to artistry means he is still pushing forward, finding new ways to innovate and contribute to the musical landscape. And it's not just about the music, it's about the legacy he's building, the impact he's making on the next generation of musicians, and the love he's sharing with his fans. Vince's journey shows us that true success is not measured in chart positions or awards, but in the depth of the music you create and the way you inspire others. The number of records sold or the accolades amassed are not the true markers of an artist's influence. What truly matters is the ability to create music that resonates with listeners, to connect with people on a deeper level, and to leave behind a legacy that will last long after the final curtain falls. So, as we wrap up this exploration of Vince Gill's incredible journey, we are reminded of the power of humility, the beauty of growth, and the timeless appeal of music that speaks to the heart. Vince Gill is not just a legend of country music. He's a living testament to the fact that with each new chapter, an artist can continue to evolve, influence, and inspire. The story isn't over, and if anything, it's just getting started. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible content. And for more heartwarming stories, don't forget to click on the next video that pops up on your screen.